Hi guys, and welcome to the Bookmas video where we'll be sitting down together and I'll be giving you a breakdown of a Christmas gift guide that I've prepared a presentation on for the bookish person in your life, because this is very last minute, but all of these gifts are still manageable in the span of the 1 week we have left before Christmas. So let's just jump right in, because if you've been putting off presents until right this moment, I have got you, and so let's start. So for context, I am well aware that Christmas season is not about giving gifts, it's about the deeper meanings and the essence of the stuff. But then for me personally, my love language towards people I love and care for is definitely gift giving. And I'll take any chance I can get to kind of give gifts to people I love to kind of show the way I care for them. And it's not necessary that you have to be very materialistic in that sense. So I have other things written down too here that you can kind of use to show your love for your loved ones this festive season, which is why I've incorporated everything into this one presentation that I'll be giving you now to kind of sit down and go through with, because some of these items are things I'm doing personally for people I love. Some of these items are on my own wish list, and at this point it's just like a huge culmination of everything incorporated into one video, especially if you feel a little lost on what to get the bookish person in your life, be it your friend, be it your partner, be it a family member or a loved one. Because look, I said it at the beginning, I'll say it again, I got you, and so let's start. Hopping off the deep end, we are going into higher budget ideas, but this won't be very long because I do believe that Christmas is more, again, supposed to be about the love you're showing for a person, and so I've got only a few items listed here, not necessary that you have to go through with them, but I figured I'd include them anyway because I wanted to be showing you a all-comprehensive gift guide with everything basically. But these again are not necessarily things you need to buy, because keep in mind I've got other items coming up lower budget and there's so many in those, so we can definitely go through those at some point too. But starting off with the higher budget items, I think this one's kind of obvious for anyone you love to kind of get them a Kindle, because if the person you love is a huge reader and loves reading a lot of books, I feel like the best thing to give them this year is a Kindle, even if they say they're into physical books. Because me as a reader, all throughout middle school, all I would ever read are physical books. I still have them kept at home, and the thing is, there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like you can definitely save money in the long run as you read on Kindle. And then again, you kind of get obsessed with the whole perks and benefits of having an e-reader. At this point I have two, which is not good for one person only, but it definitely helps with like the book buying at this point in the long run, and I'm obsessed with them. So if you want like a whole breakdown video on like pros and cons of having Kindles and my specific models, I'd love to give them to you. But I feel like a Kindle is a great gift overall, because once you get it for that person, you kind of show them that, hey, you've been thinking of them and you've been thinking about how you can kind of help them get closer to the books they love reading this season, which is why it's on here in the first place. And once you're giving it, you can also personalize it with like cute things, not necessarily taking it out of the box, but you could include it in this whole like hamper wherein you're giving like a case and like a cute decal and whatnot. And more of those ideas will come up later, but this is just like the whole overarching theme. Next up, we have one item that's also on my own wish list this year, and it consists of basically wireless headphones, because I feel like as a reader, anytime you're reading and whatnot, you'd love to kind of just have headphones plugged in, listening to some sort of ambience of the book as you're reading. And then not just that, as someone who personally loves listening to audiobooks and stuff, I do most of my reading in the form of audiobooks. I personally would love like a pair of headphones, because not only are they handy, but also you can again go in and get really cute with like buying little cases and customizing with bows and stuff. And then again, it really helps because you can listen to audiobooks on it and you can listen to whatever background playlist you want to run as you're reading. And I feel like it's a fun gift overall, again, because it kind of ties into the whole electronics theme, but at the same time, it is high on the budget, so you can definitely consider pros and cons before getting into it, and actually consider if the person wants it in the first place, because again, I don't want to be promoting consumerism, but then it's also part of the video anyway, so here we are. Next up, we have a TBR card, or the other one is not necessarily a TBR card, but it's just something cute I found online. And this I found as I was doing my research, because I feel like a lot of people online definitely love and get the whole experience out of their TBR cards and whatnot and get their money's worth. And so it's definitely something you can consider, but then again, for me personally, it isn't like a want or whatnot, because I find my bookshelves to be very much enough. And so again, it really just depends from person to person if they like looking at their TBR, and if they're more of like a physical book girly, then this is definitely something to consider, to have like a visual representation of their TBR out in front of them on the card. And it's really cool because you can get like basic card from Amazon, but you can also go ahead and like build it for them, personalize it, and then add whatever you want to it, not just books. And so it kind of works for everything, but at the same time, in my opinion, my shelves are enough, which is why this won't be on my list this year. And so again, it really depends from person to person if you're buying it, but I think it's really cute cute because it can definitely add to like a book room if the person has it, or like the whole vibes in general. Next up, we have bookshelves. If I hadn't already had the ones I've got at this point, I would definitely be asking for these because I think this is just such an obvious idea for like the bookish people, because you just need somewhere to store your books in one spot so you can kind of go back to it every single time, and what better way than bookshelves. I also found like floating shelves, which I think are so cute, but then again, basically just depends on like the space and the ideas you have coming through with that. But then also it's such like a cute and obvious gift overall for a bookish person, because again, it kind of shows them that you're thinking of them and their books, and that's like the sweetest gesture ever. And this doesn't really matter, but most of the romance books I read, they always end up getting the girl bookshelves and stuff. And so if that's something you want to consider, this is always an option, and this will always remind them probably of you and the romances they read. And so here we are. Now this one can only be feasible if you kind of live with the person and they kind of have a lot of space wherein you can actually build them like a book nook, because you have to take like furniture measurements before you actually make the investments, unless you want to be wasting money and buying a bunch of things and then returning them because they didn't fit and then last minute you're struggling. And so this again really just depends on a bunch of factors, which is why it's in the high budget range, because you don't really want to mess up when you're going into it. But this can also be cute if the person in your life loves like relaxing as they're reading and whatnot, and love going back to one specific place to read. For me, it's my bed, so it doesn't really matter to me. But if someone really wants just like a cozy nook to keep going back to kind of have their hobby in, you can like build shelves around it. You can have that cute little stool over there, just like the coziest comfortable plush chairs to be sitting on and relaxing as you read. And so it's a great gift overall. But then again, it goes into the higher side of things. It's a lot, it's a little excessive, so it really just depends. But then again, it's an idea that came up as I was browsing online. This is me trying to justify all the high budget options, because personally most of them aren't really for me, but then it can be for someone, which is why they're in here anyway. And so here we are. Now if you don't want to build a book nook, you can obviously always just get the chairs that come with it and whatnot. And so again, there are some cute ones I've seen online, really cozy to get into for reading, wherein it's just like a plush cozy, like almost like a sofa chair to kind of relax into, to kind of sink into with like a fun book and spend your evening away. And so again, these are like cute because if you don't have like furniture measurements and stuff, and you just know that the person has a lot of space, this is like the first step towards building a book nook. Or even if you don't want one of those, you just want one of these beside your like book cupboard or like your shelves and whatnot, this is like a great investment again, because you can just sit in front of your shelves and read all day. And so this is definitely an idea too. Next up, we have special editions. Again, these can get really pricey for like the books the person loves and whatnot, and if you know they've got a favorite book, you can definitely get them. But then again, they're on the higher end of things, because some of the editions I've seen online, after they go out of stock, they sell for so high and I cannot justify it in my head. But then again, it's a really good idea because it kind of gives you more and exclusive content of that person's like very specific and very beloved book. So if you know they have like a favorite, this is great because you can get like sprayed edges and you can get like an author's signature probably inside. It really depends from like version to version, but then usually it has like end papers and like extra content and stuff, and so it's like a fun gift overall. But then again, it's something to consider. But then again, it kind of shows the person that you're thinking of them, so you can, I don't know, just consider it overall. But I found like a cheaper version too, in case that's something you want to consider this year. You can basically just buy a normal paperback of their favorite book, and you can kind of customize with these like little gems. And I've seen these go viral online because they look so cute. People sit down, and obviously it's like painstaking because it takes hours, but it's also something that kind of shows that you're thinking of that person, because you took the time to sit down and customize their book and make it that gorgeous to the point where they have the only one edition of it that exists in the world, because it's going to be very specific to the way you've done it only. And so in my head, that's also a special edition, and it's on the cheaper side of things, but it definitely counts because again, it's the thought and the fact that you'd actually take the time to put into doing all of this, which is why it's on here in the first place. Again, we have more editions with sprayed edges. I do have a couple books with sprayed edges and they're fun to look at, don't get me wrong, but then again, it really just depends if you're ready to drop like a bunch of money on it, because it is pricey. I'm not trying to throw anyone off by discouraging anyone here, I'm just saying that it's something you need to consider. But again, it's a great gift overall because it kind of shows the person that you researched the editions going into it, because if you know the person's favorite book and if you find a specific edition, usually there's like a bunch that come with it, and so the fact that you actually took in the time to kind of understand which ones they'd maybe like or need or whatnot, these are great. And so again, there's like a bunch of options for like fantasy and whatnot. I found a bunch online and they all end up looking cute overall. Great accessories to add to your shelf. Again, I'm not trying to promote consumerism because that's the way it's coming off, but again, it's great overall in case someone has for one specific book that they can't stop thinking about and they always go back to, and so it's a great additional investment. Again, it depends, but it's here. And I think this is the last one we have on our high budget range because I simply could not justify adding more, but this is an audiobook subscription. And now this one comes in handy because it is on the pricier end, don't get me wrong, but if there's someone who listens to a bunch of audiobooks like me, again, a subscription could literally change their world, because number one, if you buy a whole 12-month subscription, or even if you buy a 6-month subscription, they cost cheaper than buying each audiobook one at a time. And if you decide that you don't want to invest into a subscription of that sort, you can always go ahead and invest into some sort of library card and stuff, and those also come with their own audiobook subscriptions. Those you definitely have to put sort of hold on the audiobook before you get access to it, and it definitely takes time. But then also it's again something you can consider if the person loves listening to a bunch of audiobooks, because again, this is game changing sometimes. And so here we are, always fun to have extra credits that you didn't really expect having, and then you go back and you understand that, oh my god, hey, I actually have an extra credit in my account that I didn't know I had, and you can now spend it listening to a fun audiobook as you're going along your tasks and stuff, listening to a book, being immersed in that world, but you're also getting some of your shit done. So it's a fun gift overall, but it's definitely there. Now finally on the items I'm most excited for, because these are lower budget, and I feel like it again doesn't matter what you end up purchasing, but for me personally as a reader, I'd rather expect stuff like this if I'm getting gifts overall, because I don't want the person to be spending too much money on me. But at the same time, these are also fun gifts that you can throw in, almost like stocking stuffers, because there's so many at this point that you can build basket ideas out of it. You can kind of incorporate it in so many different senses, and you're not spending a bunch of money this year. So that's really cool. This is coming from a college student who actually really needs to consider financial responsibility, which is why I talk this way. But here we are, moving into them. Starting off strong, we have accessories, because what if the person you want to be gifting gifts to this year already has a Kindle and you're just looking for stuff to add on to that Kindle, because you don't want to be buying them too many Kindles at this point. So here we are. First set of items I have are basically just Kindle accessories, so anything and everything under the sun that could kind of add on to the whole Kindle experience. We have strapsicles wherein you can slide your hand in as you're reading, so it's kind of like a grip as you're reading your Kindle. You've got cases and fun decals and stuff, and a bunch of other things. Now the page turner on this, don't get me wrong, is again a pricier item to consider, but I think it comes as an overall wherein you can also sit down and build an accessories basket and put everything in, and it's definitely fun to look forward to, because sometimes they come in really handy. While I won't be getting one of these for myself this year, it's definitely something fun to consider, because what if you live in a colder country where all you like to do is sitting down under sheets the entire day and reading, and you don't want to get your hand out to turn the page. Again, I can't justify it in my head, but it's definitely something you can consider for people, because it's not a lazy gift, it's just a fun gift overall. Plug it on your Kindle, turn the pages. You can have a whole setup for a stand to have the Kindle in front of your face and whatnot, and a bunch of other things adding to it. And so we have accessories basically. This is the Kindle setup that I was speaking about. You can get a stand. You can also add in a couple of pillows and stuff so they can get comfortable with their stand, propped right in front of them as they're reading on the Kindle. And again, a fun gift overall. If someone you know struggles with cramping and stuff, and easily cramping on the hands and whatnot from holding the Kindle from too long with excessive pressure and strain, because this can definitely elevate that and add on to the experience. Because if you have it so easily just set up and comfortable in front of your face, would you ever want to stop? Because this is genuinely the bookish kind of persons like Netflix and whatnot, and so great idea overall. Now, this one is one of my own personal favorites, basically a Kindle decal. You can obviously find a bunch online on online Etsy stores and whatnot, but you can also sit down and, if you have the time, download a bunch of Pinterest photos similar to their favorite books and whatnot, or stuff they like, and kind of sit down and edit their own personal decal, have it printed out for really cheap from a departmental store, and then kind of give that to them so they can put it between their case and then the actual Kindle, and it's always there to look at, because these are so fun. I feel you can go crazy customizing them. You can include a whole bunch, a set, and tie them all up and make it look cutesy together, because then you're gifting them their own customized pack of decals. And again, it's really fun because you can keep switching them up throughout the year as well, kind of change them up, change the look of your Kindle. And it also feels like buying a new Kindle every time you change it, because it changes the way your Kindle looks every few months, and it kind of gets you feeling this new sort of way, and it's kind of really fun to make and to use, which is why it's on here. Now for the physical book girlies, because I did not forget them, you can kind of buy these like reading lights that you can kind of clip on to like a physical book, because say that person loves reading at night. Most of the bookish people I know, and me personally, I'm obsessed. And while I personally read on a Kindle at night, so I don't have lighting to worry about, if that person needs some sort of lighting to kind of read with while they're reading on their physical book at night, these are perfect because they come so cute and you can kind of clip them on, read them, and you're not disturbing anyone else in the room while you're doing it. But at the same time, if you also want to cut the lights down so you're not disturbing other people in the house, say if they're living in sort of apartment sharing basis, if they're like a college kid and whatnot in some sort of dorm situation where you need the lights out at some point, you can still continue reading. You don't have to shut it down, you just have to open your lights and then continue in this sense. So again, it's like a really cute gift overall that you can kind of include in. And I've seen this at like a bunch of bookstores at the checkout counter, wherein they have like the cutest specific ones you can just pick up and add to it, and they always get me every single time, even though I'm not much of a physical reader, because they're so fun to look at, they're so cute, and again they're so, I feel like, heavy on the utility side. Now these are probably my favorite ideas ever, but they're DIY ideas you can make, because I feel like when someone makes me a homemade present for Christmas and whatnot, I would prefer that over store-bought any day, because it kind of shows how much time you're investing into a present and how much you're thinking of that person, ready to put the time into it. Again, it really depends if you want to do it or if you don't want to, if you're running low on time and whatnot, if it's like one day before Christmas that you're watching. But it's definitely something fun, because I feel like, again, it kind of shows so many different things. It shows the volumes you're ready to go for that person. And listen, it's always a fun gift to receive, because homemade and handmade is always preferred any day, and some of them are so cool on here. So here we are. First thing we have is you can kind of compile like a book basket or whatnot. So instead of like getting them a book subscription service, you can kind of make your own specific to that person. So you can include like a book in there, you can include like a bunch of other things that kind of tie in with the book. So like say like a bunch of tea or coffee that the person really likes as they're reading, and you know, like a bunch of annotation supplies, so like a highlighter, a pen maybe if they like writing stuff down as they're reading, a bunch of cute sticky notes and tabs, and like so many other things. You can kind of get creative with it as specific to that person's own interests and whatnot. And it's really fun, because say you include like a bunch of chocolate they end up enjoying and whatnot, or like a cute little toy, and it kind of ties the whole theme in together, and you can sit down and make it. And it's not really that expensive, because I feel like if you buy all separate items individually and you just compile it, overall it looks so fun. It's so fun to actually go through the entire thing, and it's not even that hard to do. So it's a cool one, I think. Now this is for all my crochet people out there, because I personally love crocheting, and if someone gifted me a crocheted something, even though I crochet myself, this season, I'm telling you, it would make my year, because I feel like these, again, it takes so much time putting into it, but as you're putting that time into stuff or whatnot, it kind of shows that you're ready to invest your own time into that person and their gift. And I feel like these are cute ideas, because a fun little crocheted bag for them to like put their books in and carry around as they're moving around, because we all know that a true book person will never leave the house without their book or Kindle, and this is fun because you're actually thinking of them to kind of put their stuff into that bag as they're leaving. And so that's a cute one. The other one, we have the teddy bears from Mr. Bean, and they're very hyper specific. It depends if they like Mr. Bean or not, but you can also crochet like another toy or whatnot as a cute, comfortable, cozy little friend to have as they're reading and, you know, snuggle up with. So again, a cute idea overall that you can make. Another one that you can make is their own bookish blind date with a book, because I've seen these again in stores, and for some reason I don't even understand why they're so overly priced where I live, because it's basically just like a book wrapped up with like a couple extra goodies, and they're charging a bomb for it. And the thing is, you can always make these by yourself if you can like look into researching what they've already got on their shelves, so that you make sure you're not buying double copies of a book they might already have. And if you can kind of look into the books that maybe they have on their wish list, you can kind of pick and choose, then add specific things to that in their own like little blind date with the book, wherein you wrap up a cute little book, you add like specific prompts to that book, you tie bows and whatnot, you change up the wrapping with the cute stuff you see on Pinterest these days, and then you add in like a bunch of extra goodies which you did all by yourself, specific to that person's taste. Again, that's such a slay, and I feel like we need more of that this season, because getting a blind date with a book for Christmas is like the best ever. My sister did it for me a couple years ago, and I still have those, and I still have what she wrote down kept and saved, because that's like such a sweet, memorable gift overall. And I preach, this is like one of my favorites ever. So that's why I'm going on and on about it, but here we are. Next up, you can build them their own annotation kit. I've been saying it for years now that I personally want to start annotating, and every year at the beginning of the new year, I always say that this might be the year that I actually start annotating my books to make them show more lived in and loved signs. And the thing is, I never get around to it, but I feel like if you give that sort of person who's just like me, who keeps saying it, or if they're really into annotation, their own personal kit, it kind of gives them no reason not to annotate because the supplies are right in front of them. And again, it's so cute, and you can build it with like specific stationery and whatnot, and it's so fun because again, you can customize the way the person likes it, and you can add in like a bunch of things wherein there's like highlighters and cute little tabs and like sticky notes and like all these fun colored pens. And again, you can get so crafty and creative with this, because if someone who loves reading, they'd probably end up enjoying stationery too. This is fun to kind of indulge into both hobbies and interests, and here we are with this one coming in strong. Now we kind of have like a bookish basket. This is kind of similar to like the whole boo basket thing I've been seeing online, but this is again comparatively cheaper, wherein you just buy a basket, you pop a couple books in there, you pop related things in there, so other items basically that I'm showing you in the low budget range at the moment at least. It's really fun because I feel like it can again be customized specific to that person, and if you want to give more than one gift but you don't want to spend a lot because you're being financially responsible this year, you're kind of giving a bunch of things anyway in the basket that kind of relate to the book. And it's so fun because the person gets to remove one item at a time, kind of go through it, enjoy the whole experience, but at the same time all of these items are still useful in a way because you have stickers that you can customize your Kindle case with, you have like books you can actually get back to reading, you have like a bunch of other supplies thrown in there, and so it kind of ties the whole gift overall. And so it's a really fun one too, because I feel like if someone gave me a bookish basket themed, that would kill me, honestly. That's like so sweet that they actually sat down to think of me as they were compiling the whole basket. And again, a great gift. A book bouquet. I don't even have to explain this. You just have to get like a bunch of like brown construction wrapping paper and whatnot, stick a couple books in there, make sure they're like plastic wrapped and whatnot so they don't actually get damaged, because that would be like the most heartbreaking thing ever. But you put the books in there, you put like fake flowers, real flowers, whatever, but you kind of just assemble the whole thing together and kind of give it. And again, that is so sweet that you sat down to actually sit and make this for a person, because number one, if this came to me, I would be preserving it for the rest of my life. I don't even care if the flowers go rotten, because it's such a sweet gift overall. Piling flowers that are beautiful with a gift like books that again also beautiful to someone like me, such a slay. And again, they look so great. You, no matter what you do, you cannot mess up with one of these, and I feel like these are the easiest crafts you can probably make if you don't like do other things like crochet and whatnot. And they're so fun too because you can assemble them only in like a few minutes overall, and the whole experience of giving them to someone and the joy of receiving it, it's unmatched. Now this kind of ties into the whole idea I gave earlier, but again, crochet totes specifically, because I feel like I said, no true bookish person is going to leave the house without their book or their Kindle and whatnot. And along with that comes a bunch of other things. If they're carrying their book, they'll probably need like a book sleeve and like their bookmark and whatnot. And I feel like if you're giving them a bag, they can assemble all these things in one specific place without having to worry and go crazy looking for everything all around and carrying them in their hands. This is so sweet. And the fact that someone sat down to make like an actual crocheted gift, a crocheted bag, is even sweeter because like I said, you can customize, you can go crazy with it. And at this point, if you crochet something for someone this year and whatnot, it's kind of like you giving them a one-of-a-kind item that no one else in the world has, because this one specific item with its own specific like set of traits and quirks, it's only one and that person has it and they get to experience it. And it's so sweet because again, you can go crazy with it. So fun overall because again, it's such like a utility sort of gift wherein you'll be getting use out of it every single day. So I feel like it's really cool too. This one's kind of obvious, but gift cards, you sit down, you customize and make your own for that person, because I feel like, I don't know if I'm crazy or whatnot, but every time I receive a customized gift card, I stick them in my favorite books. Again, I don't know why I do that, but I feel like when you sit down and you customize a card specific to that kind of person, it's something you'll want to keep forever, never get rid of, and it's a great memory to look back on every single year, because remember that card someone gave me back in like 2021? I still have it. So here we are. This is again a great gift overall, because you can also, if you're like a bookish person too, sit down and kind of pop in your audiobook, kind of sit down and customize it, but at the same time you can make it specific to them and kind of include their own like tastes on it, so like specific references to stuff they enjoy with the books and whatnot. And it's a great gift overall because they'll be keeping it forever tucked within the pages of their books like I do probably. And so this is here. Vinyls and DVDs, it's not specific that you get one that actually plays, because at this point in in this day and age. I don't actually, even though I've seen people online, know in real life a person who owns like a vinyl player and whatnot. And so this would be like a fun accessory you can kind of find probably in like a thrift store or something, like an old discarded vinyl or DVD, and kind of give it purpose by customizing it specific to that person's taste. So here we have one that kind of includes songs from like a book that maybe the person likes, or you can just decorate it in a specific way, and then it ties into the whole theme that they are trying to achieve with their bookshelf, and it can kind of be added to the bookshelf as like an accessory, as like a decorative item on there. And it's so sweet because it's kind of you repurposing some of the older things and whatnot, but then also it kind of adds to the aesthetics of someone's shelf. And again, it's just like a great idea overall that you can sit down and make. Probably won't take very long, maybe an afternoon at max, but if you do your research and you're doing this one good and well, I feel like this would be such like a banger gift, and this is so cool too. Next up, similar to the book basket, we have a chocolate basket, because everyone I know, including myself, if you're a book kid, you probably love snacking while you're eating, especially on chocolate, because I'm a sweet treat person. And it doesn't have to be specific to chocolates, but it can also be like a bunch of snacks that they probably enjoy, and you can build them like a snack or like a chocolate basket and whatnot to enjoy as they're reading. And again, it's so sweet overall because now you've stocked them on their supply of their favorite like snacks and chocolate, and they actually have stuff to reach for when they're reading without interrupting their book. And so it's like a fun gift overall. So sweet to receive it, so kind that someone would actually sit down and think about specific brands that a person likes and put it into a basket and whatnot and arrange it all cute and give it. And so it's a great gift too. Next up, we have a charm bracelet. I put this in only because a couple days ago, I think earlier this week, last week, something like that, I went to a Christmas market and we were DIYing our own like little charm bracelets over there. But I feel like this is such like a cute option overall too, because number one, it's inexpensive, and number two, because you can kind of customize it specific to their books. So like say something happens specifically in the plot of that book, and you can kind of find a charm with regards to that and kind of make like specific bracelets linking to specific books. So every time they wear it, it kind of reminds them of their favorite book and kind of you when you gifted it. And I feel like these look so cute with everything. So I'm kind of happy they're coming back in trend again, because even if they're not, they're such like a timeless classic piece, and it's so cool that someone would sit down and again specifically make kind of like a book related charm bracelet to give someone, because that's like such a cute, straight out of like a romance book idea that here we are. Now, these are DIY kits to give to a creative person, because if you're running low on time and you don't really have the time to sit down and kind of compile any of the other things, this is definitely something, again, you can give to a creative person so they can sit down and compile their own gifts. Because if you're giving gifts to a creative person, they'd be happy either way to receive something that they can put their own creativity into. And these are some fun sets I've seen overall that again are really cool. Starting off strong, we have Lego sets. Don't come after me, I know these are high on the budget end, but it really depends on which one you end up picking up at the end of the day. And these are really fun to build, especially if that person loves listening to audiobooks and kind of just going along with it, because I had like a whole Lego phase back in the day and I loved doing that. And again, it's a great gift overall, because if you give something like this to that kind of person, they'd love to sit down, maybe compile it, maybe actually make the whole thing and then put it up on their bookshelf again as part of the shelf. And this is like a fun gift overall that people can probably get use out of too. So if that person loves like Lego and stuff, if they are probably creative, they'll probably enjoy this. And so this is the first one we have. Next up, I've been seeing these online and I'm so tempted to put this on my own wish list, because book nooks. Now if you don't want to sit down and build a whole book nook, you can kind of give the kit to a creative person to make their own miniature book nook. And that's so cute, because after they make it, they can probably again put it on their shelf, and not just that, take the time out to actually make it in a way that's specific to their own shelf and their own taste. And I feel like these are such slay gifts overall too, because it'll probably remind them every time they look at it of you. And it's a fun gift overall, because if it's a creative person, they always want something in their hands to be working on and kind of making, and these are so fun probably to build, because every time I see videos of them with people online, I get so tempted for one of my own. And so here we are, can be very specific to like things in books. So say if they like Harry Potter, to like the Hogwarts castle, or like again specific things, but it can also be like bookstores and stuff and random things. And so again, overall, really fun gift. You can kind of go crazy with it. The ideas are endless, the options can go wild, but here we are, it's a sweet one too. Next up, we have puzzles of every kind, because no one would refuse probably a good puzzle that you can sit down, build as you're listening to some sort of good music or audiobook. And then not just that, maybe even like other kind of puzzles, so like Sudoku and crossword. And if this person who ends up loving books is probably the kind who loves doing the New York Times games too, I feel like this is a great gift overall, because you're kind of giving into their creative spirit by gifting them stuff that they can keep doing all the time. For me personally, I love Sudoku, so this is on here, but then you can give like crossword books and like other fun things to be making and kind of using their mind too, but at the same time puzzles too, because after it's finished you can kind of hang it up somewhere, maybe put it on your shelf and whatnot, and it's a cute gift overall because you're putting time in to make it. And another fun pro tip would be kind of making all these puzzles together, sitting down and doing it, and so it's a sweet gift overall. Another gift for the audiobook people is this, wherein you basically buy them like a coloring book and like maybe coloring supplies and like a set, because there's nothing cuter than sitting down and listening to a fun little book and kind of coloring stuff out, kind of making the best little pictures. Because if they are creative and they love specifically like artistic things, this is so fun. And I've seen so many cute ones online again that you can kind of look into, see which specific coloring book you want. You can buy stuff that's specific to their favorite books and kind of give that. And again, it's a great gift overall, because if someone gave this to me, I would be dying, honestly, number one. And number two, it kind of gives you something to do if you have like an audiobook to listen to and you don't have anything else to do in the background. And every time you sit down and color, I feel like it's also a great like anxiety and stress buster, and it's like a great activity overall. And so here we are, you can also sit down and do it together, so this is a great one too. This is not a given, but if the book person in your life goes hand in hand with loving stationery, like I said, and is really creative overall, you can also build them their own like little stationery sets, so like specific artistic supplies that they can kind of use to their own discretion, so like color pencils and like oil pastels and watercolors and like a bunch of other things. And now they can kind of go crazy with both of their hobbies at the same time, and it's a sweet gift too, because you can like make it in a basket and whatnot, and you can kind of customize, again like I said, specific to them. And so it's fun to receive, because again it shows that the person's been thinking of you and your specific tastes and kind of use that to incorporate into making a gift that only is a one of a kind that would cater to you. And so it's a sweet one too. Again, this goes hand in hand with the topic if that person is like creative, but you can also kind of build them like a crochet kit if they're looking to get into crochet and stuff, or if they end up loving crochet anyway, kind of get them like a bunch of fun hooks, because no crocheter will ever say no to hooks, at least in my opinion. And then like a bunch of cool yarn and stuff, maybe like a kit to like start off with like beginner instructions to make something. And so again, it's sweet because audiobook people always need something to be doing as they're listening, and so this is a fun activity too. This is not specific, but I feel like most of the book girlies I've seen online are huge Taylor Swift fans, and if they're not, they love some sort of music overall. And there's this trend that's been coming up in recent years wherein people start making like friendship bracelets and stuff specific to their favorite artist and their favorite songs and whatnot. And again, it's like a cute gift to give overall, wherein you kind of give them like a beading kit and like those supplies, and they can sit down and make bracelets kind of relating to their favorite like pop songs and stuff. And not just that, they can kind of make it specific to their favorite books too, because who's to say they won't like customize favorite character names and make it a bracelet and wear it, and they're now in their own secret like club that they're part of, that you are also technically part of by extension. And so it's a fun gift overall, really cool if you're looking for something that's creative and like again a fun hobby you can do together. And it's also something that's really relaxing if you want to consider it. So here we are. Next up we have cozy gifts for this time of the year specifically, because no one would probably say no to these gifts if they're a normal person at least. And so these are like some of the best ones to receive overall. Firstly, we have blankets if it's a reader, and even if you're in like a hot or cold country, regardless, I feel like any reader loves getting cozy and curling up with like a fun blanket and reading their book. And so you can get them like a cute little blanket, maybe specific to again their favorite like book or whatnot, if you look it up online, because there's like a bunch of like small sellers that kind of customize your own specific blankets that way. And I feel like that's so sweet because they can think of their favorite book as they cuddle up with that book. And then if you have the time, and this is like a bigger gift, but you can kind of make them their own blanket. These days I've been seeing this like star blanket get viral online, and I don't know if it's like true or whatnot, but people say you can make it in 6 days if you stick to like the tutorials. So you definitely have the time if you're watching on the day the video comes out to make it if you really want to, and if you think you can lock in. And this is again a fun gift overall because it's so sweet and it's so fun, and it'll probably get used every single day. A mug. This one's kind of obvious. I've been using the one I've had ever since I got it, which was probably like 5 years ago, and that's very specific to me because I'm a Gemini. And so again, if you get like a bookish person a mug and it's very specific to them, they'll probably use it every time they read for years to come. Because again, everyone knows that if you're a reader, you probably love like having some sort of fun drink with you at all times, and they'll probably use their favorite mug, which is probably going to be your mug that you end up giving them, make it like a whole special like core memory every single time they sit down to read. And so this is a fun one. Again, you can get really creative and crazy with these, because I saw these fun ones online and they're so sweet, and they probably look so good too in real life overall. And so here we are. Candles. Now I've seen specific candles online wherein they're kind of like scents relating to specific books, so like specific characters with their own specific book scents that you can kind of look up, again specific to the bookish person's like favorite book and whatnot and favorite character. But even if you don't like find stuff like that, because I know they don't definitely do that in my country, and even if they do, it's probably going to be overpriced, you can still buy like basic candles and stuff. You can even probably sit down and make your own and kind of give it, because no one would say no to lighting a good candle as they read, because it kind of enhances the whole experience of like good smells, good vibes overall. And this is kind of perfect too for kind of getting cozy this time of the year, and it's a fun stocking stuffer you can definitely throw in there as well. These little table lamps, if you don't want to get them like a bookish light, you can definitely get this too, because I feel like this is very customizable for their own specific like nightstand and whatnot, and it's definitely going to get used every single day if that person loves reading at night. And so fun gift overall that definitely adds to the ambiance. You can probably get like a couple for their shelf too, and in different shapes and stuff, in like custom like figurines. And again, it's a great thoughtful gift overall. A jelly cat, but then this doesn't have to specifically be jelly cats, because those are on the pricey end. You can still find like probably other cute stuffed animals and give them, because we all know that if it's a book person, they probably love getting cozy with their stuffed bookish like little friends and whatnot, and even if it's not like a bookish friend, with their cozy little cute friends. And so it's a sweet one too that you can probably consider. And so here we are. You can get them like a whole set, like a whole family too, if you want to really go crazy this year, and kind of give them that to actually add to their whole reading experience. Maybe put them on the shelf, and it's so fun overall, kind of bringing out the childish side in anyone, because no one in their right mind would probably say no to like a stuffed animal. Fairy lights. If you don't want to go crazy with like making like a whole book nook, you can kind of give like individual aspects so they can kind of build their own little nook if they're like creative and whatnot. And so the first step is fairy lights, wherein they can kind of string it up wherever they want, maybe over their shelves, maybe in the corner that they're starting to build for themselves. And this is fun too, because you can like buy different shapes and different colors, and you can customize and go crazy. And so this one's cool. I know I said lamps earlier, but these are like mini ones I found too that I thought were cute, because you can buy like different shapes, and again we'll probably get like a lot of use depending on what you end up getting and whatnot. And so here we are, and these look so cute overall too, so it would be like a great thing to add to like desks and whatnot, and it's a fun one too. A tote bag. If you don't have the time to sit down and crochet one, or you just don't know how to, I feel like you can definitely just get normal tote bags and like specific, maybe customize again with regards to what they end up enjoying in their tastes, and kind of give those, because no one will say no to a good tote bag, especially when they're moving out and about. If it's like a college student like me, we basically live on tote bags. You need like a different one at different times and whatnot for different occasions, and you stuff them up with your things, and it's not all over the place now that you have that. And so it's a great one too, because you can again go crazy with customization for that one specific person. And so this one's here. I included crochet again as part of cozy gifts, and so these are very similar to what I already spoke about, but any sort of crochet is always cozy and always welcome. And so again, we have bags, we have book sleeves. You can go crazy with customization. My favorite keyword and term of the video. Do not take a shot every time I say that, because you'll probably die of alcohol poisoning. But here we are. You can again go crazy with these. So these are definitely on here. And again, who would say no to a cool crocheted cozy gift? Now these are must-haves for a reader. For me personally as a reader, for your person as a reader, for you as a reader if you're looking into gifts you want to add to your own wish list, because no reader would say no to any of these things. These are like the basic Bible and whatnot of a reader. And so here we are. A hoodie. Case in point, the hoodie I'm wearing right now. Everyone loves getting cozy and comfortable as they're reading, and there's nothing better to do that with than a nice hoodie to snuggle up with. And you can get like cute ones, like the ones online and the ones on screen, because these are perfect. And again, if you want to get cozy while reading, these are the perfect option. You can also get those like blanket hoodies I've been seeing recently, wherein it's like a blanket but like made into a hoodie and whatnot. And so they're definitely going to be comfortable and cozy, but they're also going to be like a blanket wherein you don't need a blanket anymore. You have one on you at all times. And so That's perfect too. A water bottle, because if someone's a reader, they probably forget like hydrating themselves as they're reading overall, and if you get a cute one, they can kind of take it around everywhere they go and kind of remember to stay hydrated as they're reading. So it kind of shows them that you're thinking about them and making sure that they're reading, but they're also staying hydrated, and so you're thinking of their health and thinking of their own good. And so this is really sweet, because again, you can get specific ones. You can get stuff from like those cute little like small online shops wherein they customize according to your own like suggestions and stuff. So you can ask them to customize the way you want, and you can probably get them customized according to the person's like favorite book and stuff that happens in the book. And so these are sweet too. Book ends. Now if you've got someone who is a reader, they're probably going to have books scattered everywhere around the room. Doesn't matter if they have shelves, doesn't matter if they read on their Kindle. And so these are really cool, because you can kind of organize those stacked books with these little bookends on your desk and whatnot, and they look so cute too. So who would say no to that? Because these, again, you can go crazy with customization, and you can buy anything you feel like, and it'll still look good. And so here we are. Posters. No one loves a good poster more than a bookish person if you buy specific ones to their own taste. So I'm a Swiftie, that's why I've got like Taylor Swift ones on screen, but you can buy specific posters to like their favorite like music and stuff, their favorite book, and then they'll probably put it up again near their shelves, surrounding their shelves if they've got like a book nook added to that nook. And it's really cute to like, again, start kind of giving them stuff to build their own corner overall, and this is definitely an idea. Now here I've included signed books, but if you don't have the time, say like the night before Christmas, to actually hunt down their favorite author and get like a signature in their favorite book, you can also customize your own little note to add in the book like that. Because online I've been seeing like a bunch of people go thrifting, and then in those books they find like notes from the person who gifted the book to the person who got the book. And I feel like that idea is so like sweet overall, because no matter how old you grow, they'll probably always have that book to look back on, say like in 40 years time, and reminisce about the fact that you sat down and wrote them like the sweetest note ever in a book and gave that to them. Because the fact that you're actually sitting down and giving them a book that once they open up, there's like another surprise inside, and it's the note you gave them, and it can again be like the most heartwarming thing ever. That is so sweet, and that's definitely also on here. Probably one of the most thoughtful ones too. So here we are. Bookish merch. You can get stuff specific to the books they end up liking, stuff specific to the albums they end up loving listening to. And again, if it's like crew necks and stuff, if it's like hoodies, they're so great because they can kind of get a lot of use out of it, but then it's also specific to their own favorites, and it feels like walking around in like your own personal book club, because someone on the street kind of spots you and is able to relate to the reference. You actually found a new best friend, and suddenly you'll be thanking your best friend for having given this to you in the first place. And so again, a great one overall. You can again go crazy with customization, and so here we are. Prints, they can basically be used for anything. You can edit them to make them again customizable to their favorite things, so like add in whatever they like and then give them that, and then they can kind of use it wherever. So you can get like different size prints wherein you can put it up as posters around your shelves. You can kind of use them as decals in your Kindle, and if you're feeling really creative, actually get these prints printed and kind of go through the process of turning it into like a diamond painting and stuff, so they can actually sit down and start jeweling every single thing up. And that's like such a fun DIY gift overall idea too. So again, no one would probably say no to that, which is why this is on here. And again, this can be very specific to what they end up liking too. So it's fun, and it kind of caters to everyone overall, because there's always something that one person truly ends up liking as part of their hobbies, and this kind of goes for everyone. A bookish crew neck, because if there's someone who doesn't like hoodies with the hood, they just like a crew neck, this is cool. My mom specifically, she hates hoodies but she loves crew necks. I don't get it, but she just doesn't like the hood. And so again, it can be very specific, and it kind of shows the person that you're thinking of their specific like interest range and whatnot, what they end up preferring. And so it's cool because you can get them customized. Those small shops online, they go so crazy and so hard with what they usually have in selection, and so again, you can get them specific to their own bookish like interests and whatnot. And here we are. Marks, this is an obvious one. I don't really need to say more on the subject. Anyone can use it, everyone can make it. You can kind of get them off stores as well, and they can kind of again be specific to like book references too. Stickers, again, I don't need to explain it, but if it's a book person, they're probably gonna love the stickers to add in everywhere they go, and they can be bookish too, so it kind of adds on to the whole vibe overall, and it's a really cool one too to receive and to give. A reading journal, so they can sit down and track all of their reads and kind of get creative with the whole process of like documenting everything and kind of going through their star ratings and you know how much they end up enjoying a book, or like making fun spreads and whatnot. And so this is a fun one too, because you can get it customized with their name on it and whatnot, and you can get specific ones specific to their own interest range. a book sleeve, because you know that if it's a reader with like physical books, every time you put a physical book in a bag, you're always going to be scared in the back of your mind that the edges are going to get creased up. But if you give them like one of these and you shove this in here and then you throw that into your bag, you don't have to worry about the book getting battered. You can also use this for your Kindle and stuff if you're scared about the Kindle screen. And so it's like an overall fun gift for literally anyone. Lip balm. This kind of goes into like the whole bottle theme that I gave you earlier, wherein you're trying to make sure that they stay healthy and alright, because if they're reading and their lips get chapped in bad weather, always go back to your fun emotional support lip balm, and you can get like a bunch of fun colors, make like a whole set. Again, a cool one overall. Claw clips. Now this one's specific for people with like longer hair, so maybe I shouldn't have included it in an inclusive one, but I feel like this is cool too, because if the person likes reading a lot but they don't like having their hair in their face as they're doing it, claw clips, they're gonna get so much use out of them, and you can get like the fun cute ones you've been seeing, build a whole set out of them. I've been seeing those flower ones go viral these days, and I have a couple already that I use all the time. And for me personally, there's nothing I love more than sitting up in like a messy bun and reading my book. And if you say that to a person who is a reader, they're probably gonna say that, oh, you're giving them like supplies to become YN. But this is again a funny one overall that you can give, and you can get specific to what they end up enjoying with their favorite colors. And it's cool too, because now they can have their hair up, get all cozy and messy and comfortable while reading, and that's the best vibe ever. And so now the end, we have reached the end of this vlog. These were all the gifts I had in store for you that you can probably think of making, kind of buying, kind of assembling to give to the bookish person in your life. For context, none of the images I used in the slideshow are my own. They're all picked up off of Pinterest, so all the credits go to the original owners. And I'm not saying that you have to buy gifts or like make gifts specifically this season. All the love and the vibes and the, I guess, meaning and the deeper essence is more important of Christmas, but this is all just extra something that if you want to throw it in there and if you want to go the extra mile for Christmas, there are definitely options you can consider. And so here we are. This has been a long yapping vlog already, even though I thought it would be on the shorter side. So I'm going to cut myself short by saying hopefully you found at least one good gift that you can take away from this video and kind of give to the bookish person in your life, because no matter what you end up doing, they're probably still going to be grateful to have you in their life, and so that's fun overall. But regardless, now we've reached the end of this vlog. If you guys had a fun time coming along with me, and hopefully you're able to take away a rec or two, like, comment, share, subscribe. YouTube things, you know how to do them. And if anyone starts coming for me saying that you gave like a whole gift guide on what bookish people would like, but you didn't end up recommending a single book, it's because I already have like a video from last year with one of these titles or something like that, so I'll have it on screen. You can definitely go look it up if you want book recs to kind of give to the bookish person. I feel like buying books is such like an obvious one anyway, so it's really up to you what you end up doing. And hopefully you have great success this season with your gifts, because if you're like a last minute gift girly like I am and you're cramming at the moment, hopefully this saves you. Here we are anyway. I'll see you now tomorrow directly for our daily routine for the month of December. And until then, hopefully you stay safe, take care. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and bye, because that's all I have for you today. So see you tomorrow, and that's it. Bye.